Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekly show with Aditya, India's number one podcast, with India's number one host, Aditya, in association with Dusra.net, the number one website in sports, education, and entertainment. As a part of the 75th episode, Celebration Week, I welcome my friend and the special guest for the show, Gagan, to my studio.
Thank you very much, Aditya. I feel very special. This is the first time I'm coming to a talk show, and thank you very much for calling me.
So let's begin. So you must have heard about these 10th and 12th results coming out and students getting marks as absurd as 499 out of 500.
I'm not sure it is ridiculous or not, but yeah, it sounds very strange. As much as I remember, my maximum was 82%, and I studied for nights for that.
So do you think the students who study right now, they study to get marks and then go to an Ivy League level college? Or are they studying to learn the subject, understand the subject, so that they can take this learning forward? Maybe 10 years from now, they will remember something and then they will say, yes, this is what I learned. Or is it that they just want to get over with it, move on to the college because of the stiff competition in colleges and the high cutoff rates, which force students to cram up things, and it stifles creativity and understanding of the subject?
I think it is very easy to comment, and we are currently not standing in their position. Maybe they have actually become that better. Their knowledge level or their skill has gone to a level that they can achieve 99%, which we were not able to do in our times. I don't think they're only cramming up this stuff, they're understanding things. I think last month I was playing with my younger brother chess. He is in 8th standard, and he made that game very difficult for me. I somehow ended up escape myself from that situation. We can't comment straightforwardly that they are cramming up this stuff. Maybe they are actually learning.
Okay, that's a good point. They are now become smarter students, and teachers have also improved their teaching style, and it's not just a teacher-student relation, but more of a learner-learning relationship. And as well, the books have also become more detailed with more illustrations and key points. Students can understand the subject. Don't you think students are somewhere between comprehension and rote learning due to the high cutoffs that we see now in colleges? 98% is the norm. You have to get that much to get into a good college, or your second option is a private institution, which then can hamper your future plans if one goes into a job. So the idea is good marks, good college, good jobs, even if they are smart.
And this pressure is really bad for the students. Really, really bad. In Delhi itself, every year around 20 million students attend 12th standard exams. And after that, in colleges, there are around 2 million seats are available. So only 10% are getting admissions. And they are working hard and everything. There is a lot of pressure. After the 12th standard, these 18 million students, their life become hell, because they are studying in college or they are studying some other kind of stuff, but they continuously keep on thinking that they will not get any job, or they will not be able to earn that much, or they will never able to settle in their life. And this pressure is killing students actually. I don't think only a good or only a premium college degree ends up a person in a good job or a good life. I have seen people who have not achieved well in academics but are doing great in their lives. This whole pressure thing, this whole drama, you must score well, is actually killing the hope of students. Parents must understand, they must not kill this hope. Marks do not create good futures. Hope and hard work creates. For example, if a person lives for 100 years and his work in 1 year will not or must not decide the rest of the 99 years. His everyday hard work should decide. Even if somebody doesn't score well in 12th, if a person scores 60%, and for a well informed person, it is very easy to guess, or it is very easy to get into this thinking that now he will not get a good college, he will never get a good job, and he has to find some other way, like a small business or something. There is always a second chance. He can go again for 12th, or maybe he can go for another kind of skill, or where he can actually improve himself. But this whole pressure thing is actually killing this hope that he can find another way to make his life large. This is killing our society today, and I really hope that parents will understand this soon.
Those are very good points, Gagan. And continuing on this, what I've seen is that as students get higher marks, if they go to a tuition center, what they do is they put their ad in the print media. 12, 13 students have received 98%. So please come and take admission in a tuition center and we will make sure that you get marks. The rivalry in terms of higher percentage pass marks between government and private schools, that government school students now they're improving, has made this even more complicated. Pass percentage of a school decides the competence of a school, not the skill of the student or the intelligence of the student. That is what is happening. If you see in newspapers, they're interviewing students with more than 98%. So those who have got less, or those who are not even there, they're feeling left out as why am I not being congratulated for even getting 70%. Such compartmentalized behavior also affects the student.
I know a family. There are 2 daughters in the family, and I think one is currently 20 years old and the another one is 18. So the elder one did BTech in computer engineering, and after the college, her parents were not willing to send her to Bangalore or another city. So at that time, her parents decided that you study for the government exams and don't go for this job or anything. Now this girl is preparing for government exams since last 3 years. Unfortunately, she didn't crack till now. The younger one, that girl went for CA, and now she has completed her CA, and she got because after CA it is very easy to get a job in neighborhood itself. It is not as difficult like engineering. You have to go in, mostly for good jobs you have to go in a metro city or somewhere, but for CA you get a job in neighborhood as well. So the younger girl got the job. There is a strange pressure kind of thing in the society. The elder daughter is continuously thinking, how can I get a job, how can I get a job, and the younger one already get into a job, and even without saying, there is this pressure on the girl that I'm not able to perform well as my sister is doing. So this pressure is really bad, really bad. For example, if the elder one did BTech and she is not willing to go to Bangalore, she could have gone for something else apart from preparing for this government job. And because her parents were very, no, you have to go for government job, and now a lot of people are going for the government job, as the whole thing is so competitive that she is not getting a job, and this whole family pressure is killing her as well. So this pressure is very bad, very bad. I have seen some friends in Western countries. So when a person didn't get a good job after his or her graduation, they go for small jobs, like billing at a McDonald's, doing a small kind of job at KFC, and the parents are completely okay. The society is completely okay. It is not that everyone has to start with a big job or a big marks or a big degree. Some members can start with a small job. It's completely fine. But this type of thought process that no, you have to score high, you have to crack a big job, and you have to go for a big things from the start itself is creating unnecessary pressure on the students.
Was a very good point. Let's move on to a more lighter and
Yeah.
vein topic.
Let's talk about you, Aditya. How are you? 75 episodes.
I've been doing well. It's taken a lot of effort to create 75 episodes. A lot of thought process goes into this.
So what was the basic idea when you started? What was your aim?
Communicating my idea was always on my bucket list, and I wanted a platform for the same. So I started this podcast to express and convey my ideas and thoughts. Someone told me that instead of worrying about where do you want to work, this person told me that start your own platform or company. One can see the examples of startups in other fields. Though I do not consider this a startup, for me this is a platform where I can speak freely. Since this is my platform, so I have my mission, vision and objective. The topics I decide, since I have started this from the scratch, so it's my brainchild in a way, and I can tweak the rules, make new rules.
One thing I really want to appreciate, Aditya, is starting a thing from scratch. According to my experience, doesn't require only the skill. It requires a lot of you are going to start something, and the success and failure both will be your awards. You as my first ever
Guest, it will become etched in history that Gagan was the first ever guest, and if in 10 years time we both become celebrities, let's say one day you head your company Honda GM, your name is there, you will say that I appeared for my first ever talk show interview with Aditya. Prior to this, I had my website which has been running for nearly 4 years. I prefer using website over blog, as blogging suggests being casual. It doesn't give that
justice
idea.
With the content.
It doesn't do justice with the content. You also mentioned your interest in the World Cup. A World Cup after 8 years.
Yes.
You will finally get back in the interest.
In the last couple of months, in office, a lot of my friends are continuously talking about cricket. I think there were a lot of series or things were happening in a couple of months, and a very good friend of mine who is living with cricket, I can say.
Fanatic.
Yeah, fanatic, man. Fanatic about cricket. So he keeps on telling me about cricket. And he told me that this year we are going for World Cup to England.
Starting in around a week's time.
A week's time? Okay, man. So this year we are going for World Cup to England, and I have decided I will watch all the matches of India. And I'm like, this time India must win. Yesterday I watched a advertisement on TV. There was a party going on in a hall, and the people tears up
that was a promotional ad.
Yes. So everything somehow has depended on this promotion thing.
Promotions are important. Everybody is working.
Yes.
Compared to previous World Cup, this year's World Cup has come after the T20 competition. So that has taken the attention away from this. If you go and look at the World Cups before this, you had the World Cup, then you had this. But this year, because it is being held in London, and London cannot host in January and February because of weather conditions, their best time to host is May to July. Now
like
what-
a prerequisite, you have to.
It is a prerequisite. You cannot have a match with 5 degrees. It's still 25 degrees there, but 25 degrees and 5 degrees, you can imagine which is a better condition to play in. And it
25
has not
degrees
got
is-
the hype like the hype the football World Cup got.
Hmm.
Football is a game of clubs.
Hmm.
There is no country versus country game. It hardly happens.
Hmm.
It happens twice a year. It's either Euro Cup or World Cup. Either of the time, it's either Liverpool or Manchester United or Manchester City or those multiple clubs of multiple cities. And then you have separate leagues. The separate league, the winners of these teams come into the Champions League.
But football, with years, has become a very surprising kind of game. Like Croatia has, out of the bloom, came to a such high position and has given
These
a.
countries are coming up and up.
Yeah.
Now, what I don't like in this is that we are only giving importance to the football players, for example, who Messi, Ronaldo, Mohamed Salah, and etc. The thing is, we have equally good Indian football players. I'm not surprised that you're not aware of the name because they have this Indian Super League, they have this I League. There are 2 football competitions.
But Aditya, as we were talking earlier, no, the main thing is, for example, in case of the India team, due to this whole promotion thing, we miss this type of player, these type of players. We know only about those big players, Messi and everyone, who are being kept on promoting by people.
Yes, they are talented. They have been doing that for over a decade. But even our own Indian players, they have the talent. But that is where the difference lies. Even our own newspapers, if you see, last page of a newspaper will always have news about those leagues. Even in the Avengers Endgame,
Yes,
Which
I
was-
was thinking also the same.
which was anyways
a,
very
a serious topic, basically.
not serious, but it was saying that yes, but the character of Thor, for example, his whole pot-bellied and drinking, it brought out laughter without even thinking. Now there is a humor and there is a dark humor.
I can't be more agreeing with this one.
Did you watch Avengers?
Yes, I watched Avenger Endgame, man. Actually, this is a serious movie. For example, somebody has come, killed my half family, and I am going to take revenge. This is a serious thing. But still, they have made the movie with some humor content to keep the things light.
You have to keep it light.
Yes, and
This is what
this is
I
like
enjoy.
very important, very important. And the thought.
And the humor should be in such a way that it doesn't come out explicitly. The laughter has to be
natural.
natural. Yes.
Or
It has to be
maybe
natural.
maybe under the breath.
For example, we can talk about the Fast and Furious series.
Yeah,
You must
okay.
have seen it.
I have seen it.
The character of Roman.
Okay.
Yes. If you look at his dialogues carefully, he is there for that humor and comic relief. Fast and Furious 8, in the end part where he has a missile chasing his car, the way he speaks about the missile, the way they bring up the whole scene, it brings out laughter. Even though you know that he's about to die, but that's all it is about. That's how you do it.
I want to bring one more thing here. Is the South Indian movies, no? Maybe they are little off topic and they talk,
South Indian movies,
but they keep the humor content.
by default,
High.
their action scenes are outrageous, so you laugh.
Plus, they keep at least one character to keep the things light and the
So
humor.
now what is happening is, since we have this South and Bollywood divide, 50% of movies made are remakes.
Yes, and this doesn't happen only in the Bollywood. The South Indian, the Tollywood also copies Bollywood movies.
You must have watched this movie Partner. That was also taken from a movie
Hitch.
Will Smith. Hey Baby.
Hey
had
Baby.
come. That was taken from movie Three Men and a Baby. What they do is either they pick up parts or they just take the whole movie,
Whole
and put
movie
it in
and-
Hindi. And then they say we claim the rights, and now what is happening is creativity suffers. TV shows are meant for entertainment, and they're right. They have a disclaimer that we don't want to harm anyone. We just do it for some humor and poetic license. When I read in the newspaper that they'll remake, I'll think, what is the definition of remake? Are they going to? They will obviously recreate some characters. Not everything can be the same, which is fine because. But then, why are they remaking? Remake means you're running out of ideas.
Yeah, remake. There is one more, I think, purpose behind
You
it.
want people to enjoy what people enjoy in English.
I think making remakes is like a pre-confirmation of success.
Means we are saying that TV show was so good that we want to create the same atmosphere here.
For example, if I go for a new story, I have some amount of doubts that
You
it
have to
may
work
success
hard.
or it may not success. But if there is a TV show which had succeeded somewhere else, so the probability is really high that it will success. Otherwise, if you only want to reach new audience which speak or understand the other language well, you can just dub the show. But you want to make more money, therefore you are creating another show.
Now, movies are being dubbed in 4
Yes,
languages:
yes.
Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Hindi.
And even I heard about this Robo 2.
I have watched a few South Indian movies. Despite their serious attempt, you end up laughing during the entire 2-hour show. You don't. And then when they dub it in Hindi, it becomes even more
Good.
comedy. Yes, you watch.
I
them.
remember I watched one Avenger movie in Hindi. It was before Infinity War. What was the last part?
For Infinity War, they had the Winter Soldier, the one with all the characters came together.
Yeah, I think there was a girl in that movie and she was talking in Haryanvi. And the people in theater were going mad. And they were like so much connected with the character that yes, now they are talking in our terms.
Our turn.
Let's cheer for us.
Remake, I understand. Remakes is always complex.
And it is not only happening with the TV shows, it is happening with the applications, businesses, culture, society, clothes,
That's
even the thinking. The one show I enjoyed the most, and I even watch it again and again, only one show, is Friends. I love that show.
I know that. Before Friends came, there was one more show which was similar. They were not exactly Friends, but there was this show called Seinfeld. Seinfeld. It came 5 years before Friends.
5 years before.
Yes. It was about a group of guys who were in New York and they are talking about nothing. Basically just having a conversation about the smallest of things. That why is, for example, you would say, why is this chair broken? For example.
Is it?
No, just an example. Maybe you can watch Seinfeld and you will understand.
Okay, so why I watch Friends again and again, and what I found really good in that show
It's the way they have characterized each character.
it's really light-hearted, man.
It's light-hearted.
I can watch it and I can it can remove all my stress and tensions. It's like I whatever kind of day I had, if I watch this show, and I will be refreshed within a matter of couple of hours, maybe
So
half an hour or something.
But people are still going. I see a TV show or a movie from the point of view of a writer.
Oh.
From the script writer, what they thought about it, not
I
from the
understand.
point of view of the actor.
I understand.
Because an actor without a script is like a mobile without.
I completely agree.
The writer will say that, for example, if you have the character Joey, he does something comic or funny. It is not he who's doing it. Unless in this situation all the actors were writers as well and producers as well, which is a possibility because as a show grows, the same actors go on to become producers. If you look at the credits, maybe for the first 3-4 seasons they're only actors. As they become confident, the money comes in, they become producers. And as they feel they are not too old for acting, they become producer and director. For example, we can take the example of
Joy also acted in one show after Friends.
he's done lot of shows.
Huh.
Chandler did this movie called Whole 9 Yards,
Okay.
which was remade in India through a movie called Avara Pagal Deewana. Akshay Kumar and Sunil Shetty.
Okay.
The same thing. You had Chandler or I forgot his real name. You had Chandler as the guy who played the dentist, who was at. Have you seen that movie, Avara Pagal Deewana?
Avara Pagal Deewana.
So Akshay Kumar was replacing who was the guy in Die Hard, actor?
I'm
Bruce
really
Willis.
bad with the names.
Akshay Kumar was replacing Bruce Willis.
Okay.
You had a character who was Sunil Shetty. As they meet up in the hotel, they hug. Then they have a third character. He likes the wife of another character who they want to kill, who is his brother-in-law and all that. It's almost the same. But you would say you enjoy the Hindi movie more. Why? Because they added Paresh Rawal in that. The character of Paresh Rawal for me in that movie had that effect. If you watch, original is original.
But remake is like a better
Remake
one.
is remake. It's always it depends on the what I think
Creator?
is you have to know about the original, then only can you make the remake.
Yes.
So it is the director and the writer who go out to scout, to watch the movie, who understand it. The production house says, okay, let's gamble, let's remake it. Because the actor will only come after the script is ready, after the production house says, yes, we are willing to pull in. After the director says, yes, I will be willing to direct. Sometimes director, writer, producer can be 3 in 1.
But
Important
I
factor.
seriously feel that these TV shows and these movies really affect the thought process of the community. A lot. For example, for me, I love the character of Joy. I love his character. And when I was younger, around 18 or 19, I subconsciously tried to do things like
I
him.
understand, it happens.
So this is like a very somewhere this is a very
Dangerous trend.
dangerous thing. Plus, they must create shows with responsibility. They actually affect the audience thought
For
process.
example, in Big Bang Theory, the character of Sheldon was,
Your favorite?
in a way,
Ah,
I did not connect with him that way. I didn't want to go there because character of Sheldon was seen as narcissistic, self-loving.
yeah. Same for
Sarcastic.
Joey. I don't want to go. I don't want to be perceived as a fool.
But then he
But-
was a good actor.
Yeah.
He was an actor acting in a. He was seen as an actor in that. But that's okay.
What I loved about him is his humor, his way of keeping the connections and relationship with people, and the way he loves his food.
In Big Bang Theory, that character is probably goes to Howard and Raj. They are the ones who keep things light.
I think
Leonard keeps it very strict, and Sheldon is somewhere in between.
I think
He tries. Sheldon is like Ross.
Yeah, Sheldon had PhD, no, in physics as
Double
much as
PhD.
I,
They
double
all,
PhD.
but Sheldon is like Ross if you see in an academic way.
Yeah,
that
academics
way.
wise, yes.
Or there was this TV show called How I Met Your Mother.
Yes, I have.
You had this character called Barney. He's also seen in that ladies person kind of a character.
Your studio is really good. It's
Thank
like
you.
a creative way. You
Thank
have
you for-
managed it well.
So, for example, when I met you for the first time, I did not see you as a serious individual.
I'm a like, serious person, believe me. I do serious stuff.
Okay, but I saw you as this person who probably takes things semi-casually, semi-lightly,
Okay, so
semi-seriously. Means formal but not very formal and not very casual. I thought that Gagan would be the perfect first ever guest. Your idea, which also propelled me to start my own.
Oh.
That also affected me. I said two people affected me. It was you and one more individual who gave me the push.
If I wake up late in a day, on weekends, so I feel like the whole day has already gone.
I think the same.
And this is like a feeling, disgusting kind of feeling. But when I wake up early, so I feel like the whole day is within my hand and I can do a lot of stuffs. So I really want to suggest that waking up early is really important, very, very important. And my company has given me this habit of waking up early. My company reporting time is around 8 a.m. So I have to start from my home around 6:30 or 6:45. 6:45 usually. So I have to wake up by 5:30, and in last 8 years, this has inculcated in me. Whatever is happening, whatever time I sleep in night, it doesn't matter. I will wake up at 5:30, and it's good.
Similarly here.
And I feel sorry for those people who have not seen those, who have not felt those early morning. I think you cannot feel the same kind of weather in any other time of the day. 5:30 or 5 a.m. is beautiful.
And our ability to talk such impromptu it's been almost a year. Means 26 June will complete 1 year. If I have to talk about something strongly, I don't have to talk to people and they won't listen. Now I have a platform, I can speak on it, and then I can make sure that the maximum number of people get my ideas. If it's all about influencing, I want to join that influencing stage, bandwagon. I've heard other podcasts, they are very specific. But what happens is, if you speak about one topic, then you do it once a week. I do it thrice a week so that I go through a lot of research work on the other days. That's also
research is important. Otherwise, the podcast become like a casual talk.
Sometimes casual talk also works, but even for casual talk, you need something to talk about.
It becomes Avenger Endgame.
If you look at Avenger Endgame, what they have done was took the previous footage of the movie and they put it along with the new footage, and it was all about flashbacks. That movie was all about flashbacks, a bit about time travel. And then when they ended a couple of characters, it basically meant that the actor in the character had also given his decision that he will not play that role anymore. That also makes a difference.
At a certain point of time, while watching Endgame, I got disappointed. Let me tell you how. So I didn't watch the Infinity War. So my friend called me in the evening at around 5 p.m. and he said, Gagan, we are going to this movie at 8. Somehow he arranged tickets, I don't know how, but he arranged. So I said okay. So I didn't watch Infinity Game, so my friends told me you will not understand the whole. So he told me the story of Infinity. So what he told me that there is a guy who is like anything and so powerful, and the name is Thanos. And this time everyone is going to fight against him, and this is going to be the biggest fight, and you will really going to do it. I'm like, okay. We reached, and we didn't talk. We both reached just in time at 8, and we rushed to the theater and to our seats because we do not want to miss any of the scenes. Then what happened? The movie started, and after a couple of minutes, they killed Thanos. And I was like, man, this guy was so strong, and I had come to watch him fight, and now he had killed. I was like, man, what is this? So he told me, don't worry, things will get alright. He will come again. If I'm not wrong, the Avenger Endgame is also 75th movie of
22nd.
22nd.
But they had made standalone movies like Thor. They had made 3-4 solo movies of Thor. They made around 3 solo movies of Iron Man, 1 or 2 solo movies of Captain America, and then they made 3 or 4 movies with all the characters together.
Oh.
The only character who did not have 2 characters did not have a solo movie were the Black Widow and the guy with the arrow.
Okay.
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 They are the only characters who were not given a standalone movie. So
Till
we
now.
don't know much about them. Every other character in that movie has had a standalone movie.
I was
So
reading.
before Avengers, they had this movie called Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So the Captain Marvel was the first Avenger and not Captain America. Because from Captain Marvel's heroics and what happened in that movie, what we saw was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is Nick Fury. He was just a low-level employee of that organization. Then he became the director. He planned this Avengers initiative after his interaction with Captain Marvel.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting enough, I'm reading about this guy Elon Musk nowadays, and in the book, I found about this Avengers. So the guy who produced Iron Man. So when he was planning to produce the first movie about Iron Man, so he heard in California they were planning to produce, and he heard about a guy who is who has set it up a factory to make rockets, and this is like the guy with huge money and wanted to do big things in technology. So when he heard about the director, Iron Man director, when he heard about him, he went to meet Elon Musk, and it has been said that the director got a lot of inspiration about Iron Man from Elon Musk.
Jon Favreau. The director was Jon Favreau. He was also an actor in the movie. He was Iron Man's security guard, and his name in that movie was Happy.
And if you notice closely, in the lab of Tony Stark, you will find a roadster, Tesla roadster, standing in the laboratory or near his desk. It's like,
What I feel is, for me, you have Marvel and you have DC, where you have Batman, Iron Man.
yes,
For me, Iron Man and Batman are similar characters because they are rich billionaires with lot of gadgets,
very
and they are the ones who control the entire narrative. Everything about Avengers comes from Iron Man. We look up to Iron Man, that what will he say? Then he has an ego clash with Captain America. Captain America is very similar to Superman, strong and not very technical. So you have billionaire in Batman, Iron Man, then you have the strong people in the strong and those ones who are affected by their homeland and everything.
somehow both DC and Marvels are inspired from each other as well. To
They
some
are
extent.
rivals, but they are inspired from each other, because I'm sure that after this whole hype around Marvel's Avengers, DC is also coming up with its own movie with all the characters. They had come up with Justice League last time. It did not get that kind of emotional response because it's how we perceive it.
For example,
It's all about emotional response. Avengers was nothing but a comic book. Marvel was, these characters were part of a comic book. They're all part of a comic book.
and
Just like you had Chacha Chaudhary,
yes,
these characters are part of a comic book, and the writers who wrote them, they all wrote them from the point of view of First, Second World War and the Soviet versus US Cold War. Everything was from the point of view of that. If you look at Tony Stark's father, when he goes back,
yes.
he creates Shield. Shield is US, Hydra is Russia.
Oh.
In a very satirical way. Hydra, in terms of mythology, Hydra is the one which rears his head, comes from the water. Shield means shield. If you look at the way Shield, if you interpret Shield is US, Hydra is Russia in a way. Because it came in the 70s and 80s, it was all about the Cold War.
Yeah. Maybe in some other way, but you get ideas from what you see.
This is what I understood now, because I've read also. Stanley was one of the writers. He was born in 1920s. He came from Germany. 1945, 1950, World War, First World War. He started writing this. Captain America, if you look at the character of Captain America, he has come from the First World War. He was this thin soldier who couldn't do anything. And then, like Spider-Man, he's given that shot of injection. If you look at all these characters, they all become powerful by accident. Spider-Man by accident, bitten by the spider. If Spider-Man is not Spider-Man, he's a everyday guy like you and me. The mythological character of Wonder Woman, Amazon, strong.
I think the writer does this for making it more realistic for the
whole idea is that we all have this hidden character who wants superhero. We all have a superhero who wants to come out.
Yes.
The only Indian superhero which had some visibility was Shaktiman.
Yes.
Who was given the energy by yoga. Now that though the graphics and the special effects were not up to the mark, but the character of Shaktiman is very similar to the character of Superman.
Yes.
He is a reporter. How is Superman reaching the crime scene on time? He is a reporter.
A girlfriend, and changing clothes and going there.
So Shaktiman wo hai. And they are very similar.
If you see, there is a stone which makes Shaktiman weak.
And there is a stone which makes
Superman weak.
So that is also yes. And then you have that Dr. Jekyll. Here you have Lex Luthor.
Evil doctor.
Evil doctor will be evil Lex Luthor. You have so they're very similar in that way. Even Spider-Man is a photographer. So when he hears something is happening, they reach quickly. They have police scanners with them. That is why they made them a reporter, because the crime reporter will be nearest to a crime scene and then they will come and investigate.
If we look back at our talk, you can see there are a lot of professions available. A lot of professions where one can go. But students are somehow, students have been programmed by their parents and the society that there are only 2 or 3 professions. You can go engineering, doctor, and the third,
law.
the CA and something.
No.
But this is like completely wrong thing.
It's a matter of interpretation. I did not choose those paths. It just happened. I'm enjoying this. Because if I was in those professions, with respect to people who are in those professions, creativity would have gone. Even here, if I was working for someone else, then the 9 to 5 I would have been working for them. It wouldn't have made me grow in a way that, yes, you need rules, you need some experience. I have experienced all that. I have worked elsewhere. I have interned in a radio station at 2 different places. They're not radio stations, they're more like community radio stations. This art of speaking was given a good flavor and it got better. That was important. So yes, they played an important role. But that was in my journalism school. So yes, I went for a month's radio internship and it helped me.
Actually, as said, if the wheel is already invented, you must try to invent the car. There is nothing to invent the wheel again. If there is some experiences, some knowledge already available, it is better if you take that and you start working after it. It doesn't make sense to reinvent the same thing. It's good if you have already interned at these places.
for listening to this episode. This was your host Aditya with special guest Gagan on this very special milestone episode of 75 episodes. So if you want to be a part of my show, please send your valuable suggestions and send your recordings on topics ranging from sports, education and entertainment on the email ID aditya_the_writer@gmail.com. That is aditya_the_writer@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please like and subscribe to my Facebook page and YouTube channel and stay tuned for the next episode.